Before we get into the video, I need you guys to do me a favour. Number 1, like the video. Also comment, let me know your thoughts on the story. Robert Donaldson, who's roughly 49 years old now, decided to take on Charles Bronson while in jail. That ended badly, with 2 hooks and an uppercut. Now Robert Donaldson was a mad man. I mean bat-ish crazy. Now Robert Donaldson was 29 years old and from the Stamford Hill area of North London when he broke into 100-year-old Annie Steinberg's home back in 2005. Now Robert was heavily hooked on hard drugs like coke and crack, and needing a fix he decided to take a look around by breaking a glass door to the Fairholt Road home. Now Robert crept upstairs and went into Annie's room, noticing Annie was fast asleep. Robert crept forward and then removed her Rolex watch and a few gold rings. Annie then woke up with a shock and managed to read Robert's lips make out the words, "Where's the money?" Robert then made his way to the top floor where he had a confrontation with Annie's 76-year-old son. Annie's son was struck with a bottle multiple times. After this, Robert then went downstairs and demanded more money and then more valuables, and then began to throttle Annie with a pair of tights. Robert did not care. After ambushing his 2 elderly victims, he continued to turn the house upside down. Ultimately, Robert Donaldson left with petty change and some jewellery, and when Robert was arrested for the robbery, he then told police that he had also aimed his housemate, 38-year-old Paul Bourke. Hearing the startling confession, the Met then went to the address in Bowling Road. After making entry, they found Paul. Now he had been multiple times. The theory was that after being stabbed, Robert had put Paul in the airing cupboard and then locked the door by using a chair. In severe pain, Paul actually managed to escape by kicking through the plasterboard wall. Paul then went into an armchair and that's where he was found when the police made entry. Unfortunately, he was pronounced dead at the scene. Now over the next few days, Robert went back to the flat, even walking past the unmoving Paul Bourke, in order to take TVs, trinkets, whatever he could take in order to sell for money. Now Robert was jailed for 12 years for the Annie Steinberg's crime and for life for the Paul Bourke crime. Fast forward to 2014, while serving his sentence in H&P, Underwood, Robert, who police classed as one of the most dangerous criminals they had ever encountered, had made a makeshift item and used it to prod and slash and hack at an inmate who was leaving the shower. The 2 inmates were known to each other. Robert said he wanted to talk to the victim, so the victim says, "Let me just get changed and then I'll go to your cell." The victim went to Robert's cell and then quickly noticed that the 2 men were alone. Robert pounced like a madman, making critical contact with the victim's neck, jugular vein. The victim was on the floor trying to defend himself. He was then struck in the forearm, the chin, the hand, and also between the fingers. Now it was another prisoner whom actually heard the screams that raised the alarm. Robert then left his cell and went to the ground floor and into the dining area, where he ambushed a prison officer from behind, saying, "I'm going to KU." It was actually the other prisoners that gathered around on the wing that restrained Robert and managed to take the makeshift item from him before other prison officers intervened. This resulted in an attempted M charge, of course, for Robert, so it's no surprise that Robert is completely unhinged and would go after one of the most notorious criminals, that being Charles Bronson, which fortunately ended in Charles Bronson's favour. Stay safe.